Welcome to NIASO. We are very pleased to have you here. If you're a returning family member, welcome back. If you're new, consider subscribing and join the family and turn on the notification bell. Today, we are going to talk about freelancing. Freelancing. So one of the things we've heard from our graduates is that it's difficult to find work. Well, whatever you studied, whatever skills you have, you might be able to provide that as a freelancer. So first, we're going to talk about the different types of things that you could provide services on that you may not even have thought about. First things would be graphic design, any type of artist that you can do digitally and online. So if you can do some kind of artwork, you can create an image for someone, you can create a logo, any type of artwork. You can pitch your tent online, and we'll talk about the online platforms, and you can provide your service there. Writing, translations, language services. So most people have different languages that you speak in different countries. People may actually want to learn those languages, or they may require someone to do translation services. There's obviously programming and technology. Anything to do with programming, you can do virtually online. So if you have skills in any programming languages, in any type of scripting languages, web design, tech services, troubleshooting, online, any of those things, you can do those online as well. There's music and there is audio. There's also a big, huge growing opportunity for what they may call back office. So that's all the types of work that were done in an office behind the scenes to make companies work can now be done remotely. And there's no reason why you cannot be the one providing those services. Things like data entry, things like customer support call centers, things like one of the huge things that I've seen they outsource to some specific countries, which we're not going to name because that's going to become your specific country. It's called a virtual assistant. So this is where a company or small business needs someone to do administrative work or secretarial work or manage their calendar. Those types of things, they're huge because companies are outsourcing to more affordable location. And one of the great things is that you might be in an affordable location or be able to price your services so that you become more competitive. So look up virtual assistants, then there's virtual bookkeeper. I mean, there's virtual everything. So look up all these services, think of what you can do and think, how can I deliver that online? Another huge, huge thing, which I've also looked into, is a teacher, virtual teaching services. If you have skills in math, if you did any type of math in your degree or your learning, you could actually find a curriculum for a particular country. If you don't, you can teach of your own math country, or you can teach of a different country's curriculum. Math is generally universal. So if you want to teach math, say you want to teach US math in Texas or something, find what their Texas school curriculum for math is for the grade that you want to teach. Review it, make sure you're familiar with the teaching methods, make sure you understand it, check online, do your research, and then structure your teaching material. Make sure you can cover end to end, and you can then advertise those services. So we are leaving money on the table because we do math in a country and we don't think that we can teach math in any other country. We can just check out the curriculum to make sure you can cover all the things that you say you can do. Science is the same, biology, chemistry, physics, engineering, anything that you can do and you feel you can do well, look into it, because those are things that you might be able to do online as a freelancer, even to the extent of something that we all often overlook is our culture, which the profile is what tells your potential customer about you. Your profile is going to start off with some high-level summary sentence about you, what value you bring, what skills you have. This has to be the eye-catching, because if someone's looking for, say, a grade 7 math teacher or class 7 math teacher for algebra, you want to hone in on your math teaching skills, so they give that sense and go, oh, that's the person I need. So you need to showcase your expertise, your years of work, your skill level. You need to also showcase your education background. If you have a degree that's relevant, even if it's not relevant, you have a degree, put it there, because the university is about learning. It's not specifically that we go to university, we learn this thing, and then we're going to become this thing in life. University is a place, or college, you go, you learn. And then what you do is you take the skills that you learn and you adapt them to something new, because there's always going to be a change. So you highlight your education, your background, areas you studied, any kind of recognition gain. Say you were like the one that sat in the library and you got distinctions. Hey, this is the time. This is the time to brag about what you can do. This is not the time to be shy, because if you don't tell them, they don't know. And if they don't know how wonderful you are, how are they going to hire you? So you need to let people know how wonderful you are at delivering the services they need. So you need to put key relevant information gain, and also you can highlight past experience. So even if you just new on this platform or whichever platform you're signing on to, but you have past experiences coaching all the neighborhood children to make sure everybody passed, because it's a no one left behind mindset that you have, you can mention that, the years and the levels, all the things that you have done that are relevant to this service you want to provide. Then you have to have a photograph. A lot of times people want to see a photograph so they get a sense of who they're dealing with. So now your photograph, think about your ultimate customer. Be really clear as to what you're trying to sell. You're selling your services. This is not, unless if you like trying to do modeling or something, but generally if you're selling your services, you want to have a clean, professional looking photo that you can show to your parents, your grandparents, and they can be happy with. Have a clean background, or find somewhere where there's a clean wall, or again, some nice foliage, just a nice clean background, something that conveys that they can trust you, right? They can trust you. You are the best person for the job. So you add a title. You need to research to find out what other people who deliver that service, what description are they using? What are they saying to make people get to hire them, right? So you want to do a lot of research and find out, what skills do I need for that service? How do I need to adapt and change? And you always have to continue improving yourself. The next research, you want to say, what are your competitors offering? Not just what skills they have, but what are they offering? How are they writing what they're offering? Are they just saying like math teacher, or are they saying other things? So you need to do your research, because that's key, because these people are your competitors. They may have got there before you, but you're going to get there, and you're going to have that mindset that you're going to go there and you're going to build your own base of customers. The next thing you may need to do is advertise, find your audience. So even if you are on a platform, find your audience. So you can go on things like LinkedIn, you can advertise on social media, you can look on freelancing platforms, you can do networking. All you're trying to do is find places where you can communicate to people that you have a service. The next thing, which is huge, is building your customer relationship. That's critical. First, you want to do excellent work. Whatever, and I mean whatever you say you can do, you have to deliver. Absolutely right. If you say you can write code in C++, you have to be able to do that within the time frame. Freelancing is all about time. They'll say, can you do this on this specific time? You have to deliver. This is not a time for you to exaggerate and say, well, I did some of it and I think no, this is not a time. People are freelancing. When they reach out to you, you should be an expert in this. You're going to get it done in time. It's going to be fantastic. They're going to give you a fantastic review, because customer reviews is what gets you your next work. If you say you can do something and then you can't do it, or you can't do it so well, then you get a bad reputation. And it's not worth sabotaging just to get one first high paid thing, and then you lose all the rest. it is better to grow your freelancing business slowly. Then you need to be able to communicate. Communication is key. Once someone said, I would like you to do this, communicate with them so that you know when they want it done. If anything's changing, touch base with them. If you do a draft, if they ask you to write a piece of work or something where you can show them a draft and say, hey, I've done this, it's a quarter of the way through, and here I am with a draft. Is this the general direction you want? Or however feedback you can get from your customer, make sure you get your customer feedback. When you're communicating with your customer, I know you're all highly intelligent people, so you know to keep it clean, keep it precise. These are not your friends or your best friends. They're not paying you money to be necessarily best friend. I don't know, those services may exist, but the type of services we're focusing on are where they're getting that value for money in the delivery of something you can do online, some kind of remote work. So you have to think, even if they're peer friendly, they still want the service they have delivered, they have paid you for, so you need to deliver them. You need to build a trust with your customer. And the way you build a trust is by consistently delivering high quality work. Okay, we touched on customer reviews. The next thing we're going to talk about is pricing. When you go on when you eventually upload yourself onto any of these freelance platforms, you have to price yourself. Now, I always do research. Some people may be so experienced, they get hundreds of references and their pricing are really high because they've built on that skill. Some people, especially when you're first starting out, your pricing may be lower because you haven't got many customers yet on that platform. So do your research to get a perspective on what the highest person is charging and what the lowest person's charging, and look at the different details of what they're including in the things that they're charging, so you know how to factor your pricing. You also want to consider how much time is going to take for you to prepare the work, because work is not just about the delivery. You have to prepare the work in advance. Factor in what kind of equipment do you need to do this work. Even if it's just on a computer, you may need to pay for internet. You may need to make sure your laptop's of the right speed. You may need to pay for so many other things. And if you are working out of a shared space, you may need to pay for that shared space. So therefore, all these things have to be factored into your price. And when you're building a freelancing business, you need to set some of the money aside that you earn to continue to improve the tools that you use to deliver to the customer. So set your realistic pricing. Or if you have a lot of work, you can pass on some work to your friends that do an excellent quality of service. So therefore, when people come to request your service from the profile, they can request and you know you can turn it around, so you can actually facilitate more than one customer at a time. But the people that you may choose to subcontract your work to or partner with you, make sure they can deliver. And if you decide to work together to form one service name, make sure you're all on the same page, you all trying to achieve the same objective. The last thing I want to touch on is the type of platforms you can use. There's Fiverr, there's Upworks, there's TopTal, there's Simply Hired, Freelance.com, there's LinkedIn, and there are many, many more. So if you go online, look on freelancing sites, and as summer is approaching and you think, what am I going to do with my time? This is an excellent opportunity for you to think of what skill you have, for you to figure out what you can do with the skill, and for you to actually prepare to join a freelance site where you can teach that skill, where you can do that back office service, where you can do a call center. And I would presume as you are listening to this video, you can actually speak and understand English, because that's what I'm speaking in. And there are lots of services that may need English translation, or teaching English, or teaching literature, or teaching African literature, just all kinds of things. So I would encourage you to do some research and find out what can you do, and see if you can get yourself on to be a freelancer and maybe become one of those digital nomads because you already live somewhere beautiful and warm and fantastic and affordable. So therefore, just pitch your tent, get your services done, and hope you become very successful. So that is all that we have for this week. Thank you very much for joining us. And I hope you get your freelancing hat on and get to making lots of money, because we do not leave money on the table. We don't throw money in the bin, and we don't leave money in our brains. So let the skills that you've learned provide you some money. Okay, take care. Thank you. God bless.